everyone, welcome back to Bain's Bites. My name is Marilyn, I am Bain's wife, and today I'm coming back at you with another leftover barbecue video. And so what we're going to be doing today, as you can tell by the title, we are going to be making baked potatoes in the air fryer and loading them up with pulled pork. So before we get started with the potatoes, I'm going to go ahead and preheat the air fryer to 400. Okay, so now that that's going, before you get started with any baked potato or potato recipe in general, you always want to make sure that you scrub it with lukewarm water underneath the sink to get rid of any like grime or grit that's on there. So we already did that, we patted them dry. And what we're gonna do now is just rub them in a little bit of avocado oil and just crack some salt onto them, and then we'll be ready to get them in the air fryer and get going. All right, so I had to take off my rings and roll up my sleeves a little bit, but I'm just gonna put a little bit of the avocado oil in my hands, and then I'm just gonna rub it all over the potatoes. So one of my favorite things about baked potatoes is that my mom made them a lot growing up, and so I was just kind of introduced to them at an early age as far as like weekly meals you get as a kid. But when I was in college, my sophomore year, my best friend and I lived across from a barbecue place, and we would go there like every few weeks or so and get their loaded baked potatoes, and they were so good. I used to always get them with chopped beef, and I'm happy to be making these now because they always bring back like really good memories for me. Before I put on the salt, I'm gonna wash my hands. These don't have to be like doused in salt or anything like that, but just like to get a little bit of salt on the outside for flavor. So now that our potatoes are ready and our air fryer is preheated, we're gonna go ahead and pop these in the basket at 400 for 30 minutes. And then after 30 minutes is up, we're gonna come and flip them and then do it for another 10 to 15. So after the potatoes went for 30 minutes, we flipped them and put them on for another 10 minutes. So the total cook time was 40. And now I'm just gonna take them out and place them on the cutting board. And I can just tell already that the skin is super crispy, and I'm so excited about this. A little hot to touch, but that's okay. So gonna roll up the sleeves again. And for this next part, what we're gonna do is kind of like the same theory as a twice baked potato, but we're not necessarily doing a full twice baked potato. But you know, when you go to a barbecue restaurant or wherever and you get a baked potato, they give you all the fixins on the side. Well, today what we're gonna do, again in the fashion of a twice bake, we're gonna scoop out the potato and then mix it in with some of the fixins, and then put our pulled pork on top, and then stick them back in the air fryer just to let everything come together. So first, I just have a steak knife, and I'm gonna go ahead and just slice these down the middle. Woo! See that steam? It's hot, hot to touch. Okay, so very carefully, I'm gonna start putting all of the potato in this bowl right here. Now, it's actually coming out really easily, which is great. That shows that we cooked them the appropriate time. All right, y'all, got our potatoes in. And so now I'm gonna move on to sour cream. Kind of like a healthy scoop. I'm not really measuring anything. I think when you're making baked potatoes, you kind of just measure to your heart's content. All right, and then I'm also gonna add a little bit of margarine in here. It just melts really easily. Maybe about two tablespoons or so. But anyways, as I was saying, I fell in love with barbecue baked potatoes that sophomore year in college because they were just so good. And I think it was also the memory of doing it with my best friend that just really brings it back home for me. And so now every time I eat baked potatoes, I always think of that. But so now we're gonna go in with some sharp cheddar, just grated cheese, about 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup. For the really fun part, we have 2 of our favorite barbecue rubs, the Swine Mississippi Grit, which is like a salt, pepper, garlic powder blend, and then the Killer Hogs The BBQ Rub. And this will really just help bring all of these flavors together with the pulled pork and really simulate kind of what you would get on a smoker. So I'm gonna do about 1/2 tablespoon of Mississippi Grit and then about 1/2 tablespoon of the barbecue rub. Now that we have the margarine, sour cream, grated cheddar cheese, and the 2 barbecue seasonings, we're just gonna mix this up and get it all combined. So when you're mixing it together, you just want to incorporate it nicely and just break up the potato a little bit, but you don't want to whip it and make it like a mashed potato, because you want to still make sure that you respect the integrity of the potato texture, because you don't want it to get gummy, and that will happen if you do overmix it. And now that we're going to start putting everything back in the potato skins, I'm just gonna put the skins right back into the air fryer. It will just make this process a lot easier instead of having to transfer it later. So of course, I'm just gonna split these evenly between the 2 potatoes. And now for the whole star of the show, the pulled pork. So about every 6 to 8 weeks, Bain will make a pulled pork and smoke a couple of chickens. And we always keep a little bit in the fridge and then just freeze the rest. And it's so nice that he does that, because it makes planning meals so easy. So what we did is we took one of our little containers of the pulled pork out into the fridge yesterday, and then I heated it up in the microwave with just a little bit of barbecue sauce to already get that incorporated so that it's not just drizzled on top at the end. But now I'm just gonna stack it high on the potatoes. Before we pop them back in the air fryer, I'm just gonna hit them with a little bit more of the barbecue rub. Something that we really enjoy about this rub is that it has very low sodium, so it's really good for just packing that flavor into whatever you're cooking. And so now I'm gonna put them back in the air fryer at 400, and we're gonna do it for about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna check it, make sure it's the right temperature we want. And then in the meantime, I'm gonna clean up the station, and we'll be right back at you. Last but not least, we have some green onions. I'm just gonna chop them up on a bias and use them as a garnish. And then we're gonna plate them and then give them a try. So I always like to chop off the end first, and then, like I said, I'm just gonna get a couple of these and then just do some thin little slices. Okay, so we're gonna sprinkle just a few of the green onions on the top, and then go back with a little bit more of our barbecue sauce and just drizzle that on top as well. We're in the 4th quarter now, and I cannot wait for Bain to try this. I mean, I haven't even tried it yet, but I just know it's gonna be good. So let's go ahead and dig in. Just as I thought, well seasoned, and of course the pulled pork is incredible. You can't really go wrong with pulled pork on top of a potato, but this method of pulling everything out and then stirring in all the toppings just really takes it over the top. And I love doing it this way because, again, when you go to a barbecue place and you have, whatever type of barbecue meat, whether it's chopped beef or brisket or pulled pork on top, and then you have all the sour cream and butter and cheese on the side, then you have to, anyway, it's just a big mess. And so, not that this wasn't a mess, but I really like this way better, because when it's presented to you, you have, you know, the meat on top and then the potato on the bottom. And that's just really important to me. But anyways, I hope you all liked this video. I hope you all give this recipe a try. If you do, let us know down in the comments. So if you like this video, please share it with your friends and family. And if you have any other requests of things you would like us to do, whether it's in the air fryer, on the Traeger, whatever it may be, let us know. So please like the video, subscribe to our channel, and then now I'm gonna go dig in and then give one to Bain. So we'll see y'all next time.